Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to the Illustrator Survival Corner online edition. The Illustrator Survival Corner is an international project by Bologna Children's Book Fair, curated by Mi Master Illustrazione. This talk is a Ask Me Anything session. So we invite the kind audience to feel free to submit all questions you have about the topic through the Q&A tool here down on Zoom. We really would like this event to provide useful contents for the illustrators community. My name is Giacomo, and I'm with my colleague Ivan. And we both are from the team of the Illustrator Survival Corner. Before we start, we would like to thank the nice audience connected here today from all over the world. We are very glad to stay together, and we are very glad we can perform the Illustrator Survival Corner online. And we hope to meet you again soon in Bologna or some other book fair in the world. Today, we are going to talk about some aspects of being an illustrator, and me and Ivan, we choose to go back to the past for a moment and we pick up one topic that is always quite interesting, that is how to survive and to get ready for a book fair. Now we have plenty of time to plan for the next Bologna Children's Book Fair 2022, but this is just one topic. Please feel free to ask everything you want to know about the job of illustrators and how to be an illustrator.
I see just they started with some questions, but we can start with, okay, yes.
So Ivan, how it started?
We started as the public can see in the slide in 2016. When the Bologna Children's Book Fair had the 50th anniversary. And we thought to provide a very small and useful guide, like a poster, but full of useful contents about how to survive to the Bologna Book Fair. Just because we used to go as Mi Master School with our students, meeting our colleagues, the publishers, editors, directors, agents, and all the people who work usually in the fair. And we studied how to manage as well a very, very tiring, exhausting, and big fair. So important because, as you know, the Bologna Children's Book Fair is the most important fair in the world for children's publishing. It means from 0 to 16 people. So a very, very huge and important part of the editorial industry. So at the last, we put all the questions, typical questions we receive every year from our students, but not only the students, from the people in general, about how to manage for the best a fair, to go straight to the point, because the Bologna Children's Book Fair is a professional fair. So we all go there to do business. Even if it's the first time, we think it's a good moment or a good time or a good place to show our job. If we are beginners as publishers, beginners as authors, illustrators, or whatever. And we tried to explain Well, it's a good place to do business, but to do business, not or to learn how to do business. Giacomo?
And after some years, maybe someone from the audience had the chance to visit BCBF, the Illustrator Survival Corner that was born and raised from the Illustrated Bologna Children's Book Fair Survival Guide, starting being one of the most successful spots in BCBF. And a couple of years later, the Survival Guide became a book that during 2020 had some brothers and sisters. So now are 3 books. The first one is for illustrators. The second one is for editors and publishers. And the third one is about translators. So book fairs. There are 2 options approaching a book fair: the contemplative way and the active way. I will take care of the contemplative one, and Ivan will take care of the active one. Only because the contemplative is shorter. So the contemplative way, it requires just few things: no books or portfolio project. You go there for acculturation and to ask for email contacts, business cards, to meet friends, exchange experiences, and have fun. I suggest this way mostly to illustrators that ask me how to manage a book fair, what to do. I think that especially when you are a beginner, the best thing to do visiting a book fair is to study, to take the chance to have all these incredible publishers displaying their catalogs on the shelves and study by one to learn and to understand which one could more fits to you, or better, for whom you can provide some good contents, in the way to find out which publishers it's more close to your language, your vision, the kind of story you like to illustrate, the kind of content you like to create. So first of all, a book fair is a place for acculturation, but also it's a good place for ask for email contacts and business card. You can visit one publisher stand, booth, and kindly ask for a business card or for the contact of the editor or the contact of the one in the publishing house is in charge to review and to receive by email portfolios. You know, once you got the business card, you have the right address to send your material. You avoid the info.email account, and it's always a little bit tricky because you never know who are you going to meet on the other side. And last but not least, meet friends, meet colleagues, exchange experiences, and have fun. A fair is a place for celebrate. And I'm sure that BCBF 2022 will be even more celebrating moment because we all have the chance to stay together again. The whole community can gather again together. But, you know, sometimes we think that to be an illustrator is a lonely job, but it's not at all. It's not at all, first of all, because to making a book is a part of a process. Too many different professionals, they take part in this process, and the illustrator is just one ring of the chain. So you have to have very good relationship skill to be an illustrator. And second, because facing colleagues, exchanging experience with other illustrators, it helps a lot. The contemplative way, it takes that when you're back home is a time to start the job. When you're back home and you have really studied a book fair, the publishers, you can go back home and start to design the kind of project you would like to submit to the publishers that you have been evaluating during your days in a book fair, but not before 10 days, the end of book fair. And at the end of the slides, we will understand why. You have the floor.
The other way is more active, so it starts with a professional methods. Before the fair, you always know the dates and you have a calendar, so you can put the dates of all the fairs you choose to go. It could be the Bologna Children's Book Fair, can be the Montreuil Salon in Paris, or the Buchmesse in Frankfurt. There are many in the world. Some of them are open to illustrators also, so with activities for illustrators. In general, all fairs are very interesting for professionals. But before a fair like Bologna, the small list is there. First, portfolio setup. Then book projects, dummies, along with presentation card. Business cards prepared. If you have a project we're banking on, let's make a print run coordinated with the images of the project itself. So preparing the portfolio, it means I put my portfolio and I present a very well ordered portfolio, ordinated with the best images I have, well printed in the same size, not bigger than the A3 format plus. Also because we are carrying on by ourselves, so it's heavy and it's tiring. Inside the portfolio, we need, if we are projectors, we are designers, book designers, we present also maquette dummies, so fake books, well printed, well designed, with the images we have, the whole storyboard of a story, some printed final artwork inside, and a text, very simply designed inside the project, just to show how it runs with the images, how we imagine this composition, because a book is like a music, a part of music, so it has a music inside. And obviously a presentation card. The presentation card is like a business card for all the workers, but we need to show something more inside our job. So it is connected to the main illustrations or the main project we are showing to our to the publishers or to our public in general. So if I'm presenting a book project, I need to leave a postcard with one image, maybe the cover, maybe the most interesting image I have in that project, to connect myself with that project. And remember, always put in your business card the business things. So if I have an email, a website, a Behance gallery, my address if I want, and my cell phone or phone in general if I want to be called by phone. But if I don't want to be called by phone because I don't speak enough, good enough English or other languages, I don't put the phone call. It's not necessary. Only the real thing necessary in this case is the email. And remember, you have to check daily your email, because if you leave 100 postcards, presentation cards, or business cards, it means you need to be searched by the art directors or publishers. So please check the email every day, twice or 3 times a day.
I give you a help. What else before the fair?
Yeah.
In the active way, okay? We divided these slides in before, during, and after the fair. A couple of months before the fair, you can contact publishers asking for appointment, but maybe it's not sure they are available or that they like to give appointment, to schedule appointment in advance. And mostly publishers, they open their booth to portfolio review during the day of the book fair for a certain amount of illustrators. And last but not least, the fair suitcase. Okay, it's a surviving thing. Get ready for the tundra and the tropics. We have been all experiencing, for instance, in Bologna, some edition like it was like a summertime, and some other it was like a winter time, even if it was March in both cases. So something you can really adjust according to the weather. Comfortable shoes, I think, is the most important things, and also a bit of elegance for the vernissage and for everything that happened around book fair, especially in the night. Something simple, but without being boring. And we'll see how important it is also to take part to all the side projects, the side events to the book fair for an illustrator. So what happened during the fair?
Not all publishers evaluate portfolios, and if they do so, on average, they have no more than 10 minutes. Remember, a fair is a place for business. It means publishers are there to have a business with other publishers or to meet their authors, their illustrators, so people who are working with for projects, with their agents. So the part of time dedicated to see new portfolios or discover new artists is really small. Obviously, it happens because all publishers, especially in this market of the picture book, are interested in new artists, but not in all kind of portfolio reviews, because a general portfolio with full of different things, without a project, with more than 10, 12 illustrations are meaningless for a publisher, not interesting. And also because the time is so short, 6, 10 minutes are many, so it's so much time to dedicate to portfolios. So the portfolio should be very, very precise, very well detailed, well composed, very clear, and there is no time and no space for talking. Yeah. If a publisher needs to have more information, they ask. So don't start talking, this is a project by, I did that, I was tired when I did this illustration, so I'm not so happy now. No, it's the wrong way to present. The fair is really a chaos. So the interviews, so the meetings, need to be very short and very straight to the point. The publishers face a large financial investment to participate, thousands of euros, so they need to come back with their investment. And in these 3-4 days, they are working to keep money. So the illustrators are maybe the final part Sometimes it's also the funny part, also for some publishers and art directors who like to meet illustrators. It's true, but for many publishers, it's not the good time. Because they are there to sell rights or to take new books from other international publishers.
The interview, okay, you have gained these 6-10 minutes with the publisher, and there are some key points that are very, very important. First of all, when you sit down, smile, say hello, and it's not optional. It's the only way to start a good interview, okay? To be smiling, even if you're tired, even if you're busy and it was a long, hot day going around the book fair with your portfolio. If you get the chance to have an interview with a publisher, never forget that the smile is the only key for the starting of a good interview. Let your image speak for us. Let our image speak for us. Stay silent without anxiety. Our interlocutor is evaluating what they see and needs concentration. This is very important, okay? When you show your portfolio, you just be silent and let the reader, let the reviewer have the time and the concentration in such a short time to understand who you are from what you draw. And the third thing that is maybe the most important one, if while showing the portfolio, you realize that you need to explain every image, there is something wrong. So stop. There is something not working. There is something, because if you need to add explanation, it means that the job of the image is not well done, is not achieving the communication task it was required. So the best thing to do is to finish the interview and maybe to meet some friends or colleagues to show them their portfolio and maybe to talk about what you think. There is something wrong. There is something I can set up in a different way, something I can remove from my portfolio. But I think this is the best test for your portfolio. If you need to add some explanation, talking is not really working. If the interview goes well, as Ivan said, you leave your business card and the project card, okay? No gadgets. No gadget because even if they are super funny, they are cute, and they are really designed for the publisher you are having the interview with, at the end of a book fair, after 4 days, publisher, they have to pack everything they had in the booth and ship or bring back to their publishing house, to their places. So everything is not really necessary. It maybe have a destiny more closer to the rubbish that to the publisher bookshelf. And also, you know, during a book fair, you collect many things. People give you many things: business cards, book projects, dummies, or presentation sheet, and gadgets. And it's a very amount of material that it's not easy to manage, especially at the end of a book fair when you are tired, you are totally fed up. The only things you want is to pack everything as soon as possible and go home. And another tip, maybe after the interview, the stress of the interview and the conversation make us hungry, but it's not easy to find nice food in the book fair. Let's say we have been traveling all around the world in many book fairs, me and Ivan with the Survival Corner, and usually the average situation with food in book fairs is not that nice. It's quite expensive and not that good. So the book fairs is also the best occasion to rediscover the wonderful art of preparing a sandwich in the morning and enjoying it with a bit of sunshine and with friends. You have the floor.
We are inside the fair. There is no escape. With the stubbornness of a beetle that rolls its ball, we simply do not miss this opportunity. Often their informality and sharing of an aesthetic experience help where a traditional attempt at contact has failed. Okay, the fair obviously is full of opportunities, but not only for business. And business is not only the talk with the publisher, it's also meeting people during presentations, during conferences, during vernissage, during exhibitions, talking with also publishers, but with a glass of wine, with more relaxed, and not always looking for his or her attention to my job, because it's really time for relations. It's really time to create contacts, to show humanity, humor, something of ourselves out of the portfolio stress or the needing job in that time.
And if during book fair you need help, you know that you can always rely on the Illustrator Survivor Corner. We will be back in BCBF 2022, and as you know, is a place where illustrators, they can exchange his point of view, they can have portfolio review without the stress of a job meeting, they can talk and listen to artists from all over the world to understand better different creativity process or design process. After the fair, we let 2 weeks go by.
Also three.
Also three. Before going back by email to the publishers we have been meeting and who looked interested in our portfolios or in our work, okay? Because there is a long post-fair hangover to get over. And what you do is just you send again your portfolio in a PDF format, or you send again the PDF format, the book project you have been showing to the publisher, but don't do it just after the book fair, just 1, 2, 3 days after the book fair, because as you can easily understand, the publisher will be back to office with a lot of things to set up again, and with an email inbox more than crowded. So the risk is that you send your email 2 days after book fairs and it get ignored or canceled because there are other priorities for the publisher. Maybe there are works that are in progress then that he needs to move on with that before starting considering maybe the new project that have been talking with you.
And
thank you.
Just
go ahead.
Just to add this thing, don't leave paper during the fair. If you had a meeting and you were showing a dummy, a book dummy, don't leave it to the publisher, because they don't care of it. But it's important they see, they watch with you, they comment with you, and if they are really interested, it's important to send them the PDF after, because remember, paper is heavy, and really a dummy, it's something you did with so great cure, and it's useful to have and to show to many other publishers. So don't print 20, 30 dummies of your project. It's enough to have 1 or 2, and to show and put in your baggage after the review. Now we have many questions.
Okay.
The first one, very easy to answer, as how do I know when I have a portfolio ready to present to art directors? As Giacomo told before, it's a very good idea to show first if I'm a beginner and if I have doubts about the quality of my portfolio, show first to another illustrator or 2 illustrators or 3 illustrators, so colleagues who are more experts who are working in the same market I need to work, I want to work. Their suggestions are really good because they are artists too, so they know how to give you suggestions, advices about that, because they prove by themselves the reality of this job. After that, if many different colleagues gave you the same advices, you can are more sure about how to present the portfolio. Our suggestions, as we told, is remember, put in your portfolio the best illustrations you can do in that time, not the past one. Don't put something it's past also in your experience or in your evaluation. Put something in what you really believe, something you think it's really good. And start with a good, very good illustration with a rhythm, so more illustration about the same project. Then change if you have another project, so other interesting illustrations generally are 5, 6, like the illustration you send to the exhibitions are for projects are in general 5 or 6. After that, after 10, 12 images, close your portfolio with the most interesting illustration you have, because it's the wow effect. The portfolio needs to have a wow effect.
Thank you, Ivan. We have many questions, so we will be fast, going straight to the point, okay? Not to be unpolite, but we want to give you more contents as possible. Benedetta asking, many children illustrators, they work also for editorial and companies. You think it's better to focus on one sector or not? The answer is up to you. I mean, the only thought I have about it is that when you are a beginner, you want to be an illustrator. That means you want to pay your rent, pay your bills with this job. The more different areas you're able to work as a professional, the more chance you have to survive being an illustrator. After that, when your career starts going up, you can choose which of the area you prefer to work. But from my point of view, especially at the beginning, everything can be useful. First of all, to keep some money, and second, but not really second, I think they are on the same level, is a good exercise. Working also for editorial illustration or school books, because it takes it helps you to understand better who you are, and also to experiment and expand your visual language. Even next one.
Yeah. I can add just that about the school illustrations. It's a very good training.
The book school.
The book schools, yeah. Because you do generally a lot of illustrations, very well are directed by the publisher. So it's really good to improve your capability, your skills, and start with that. You pay the rent, and it's a very, very good job. And after that, you can also start with a next level can be editorial work, can be book jackets, can be a project for a book. But remember, projecting books, it means a lot of time. One book is for 6 months of a job minimum. So for the beginners, it means 8 months because you are not so fast generally. And it's not paid at the same level. So more time, more money, no, it's not. But in the opposite, the editorial job is very well paid proportionally, because you can do an editorial illustration in 1 day and be paid like a book. So balance all these things. And remember, you are beginning and you can choose after what you prefer to do.
Maria Fernanda, she's asking, do you think that being represented by an agency is mandatory to be an illustrator? No,
it's not mandatory. It's an opportunity, and in this time, in these late years, also in Italy, there are many very good agencies who represents different kind of artists from different kind of markets and all the world. Now agencies are worldwide diffused, so you can it's difficult to choose the good agency for me. Yes, it's difficult because there are many, are thousands. But the same advices I gave for the portfolio, ask to other illustrators who have agents. If they are good, if they are jobs, if they receive good jobs, or who knows, and try to understand if really you need an agent, or in first part of your job, of your career, you can manage by yourself. It's not about money, because an agent generally he's paid by the percent of your job. So it's not something you pay monthly or yearly. No, it's not. It's a percent. At the same time, it's good to have an agent, but agencies are interested in illustrators who have good potential for the agency. So generally, not beginners, but more experts illustrators.
Thank you. Evelyn, any tips how to talk to a director on a portfolio review? Evelyn, she's from Southeast Asia, and how to increase chances to find work in Europe. I think nowadays there is no more difference from where you come from or where you live. You can reach out by email everybody. And even if traveling these days is not that easy, it will be again. So again, I think there are many international book fairs. I know that it's not easy to go publishing house to publishing house, but book fairs is the right moment, like London Book Fair, Montreuil Book Fair, Buchmesse in Frankfurt, CCBF in Shanghai, China, or Guadalajara, Sharjah Book Fair. I think that if you want to invest some money for talking to editors or directors, the best is to go into book fairs, because they gather there all together, and in 3-4 days you can really meet a lot of them.
And remember, you Evelyn, wrote in English, and it's important because English is now, for now, the main language to talk with all publishers. And also another interesting things, when we do many portfolio reviews with many reviewers, the point often is take a look of your specificity. So if you are from Iran, from China, from Austria, remember, take something peculiar from your culture, because it's important to restitute something of your background. Because the originality now is not I'm doing a new, I don't know, Andersen fable in a picture book. There are many, but it's the key. The key is the originality, and sometimes the originality is from our country culture. Remember.
Luis, do you have any tips on approaching art directors? For example, what to write in emails? Does it matter if I send a link to my online portfolio or JPEG and etc.? So Luis, quite briefly, how to send an email to an art director? 3 lines is enough. Hello, your name and surname, where you from, why you are contacting them, say something that put you and the art director in connection. I want to say, dear Mr. Smith, I'm an illustrator. I'm Giacomo, and I'm an illustrator based in Milan. I had the chance to visit the exhibition of, and you say one illustrator that is published by this author or this art director, and I do really appreciate this. Here is my job. You put a link to your website and you attach a very small PDF, very light PDF with 3-4 image, no more. They, if they want to go deeper, they click on the link, and you say bye-bye. I hope to, looking forward to hear you, and that's it. Okay. Think always that the art director is super busy, so go straight to the point. And please, if you attach a PDF with some samples, the name of the file of the PDF is not small portfolio.pdf. It's not illustration.pdf. It's your name and surname PDF. Because if the art directors want to go back to your PDF, maybe he remembers your name, and so it will be easier for him to find in his or her computer. Okay.
Remember not too heavy files attachment. Remember, better use email compositor like MailChimp, not the mail program, because sometimes the art directors, the publisher has PC or Mac, they don't read at the same time the JPEGs, the attachment. So remember, the attachment very, very tiny, low, and the connection is to your site. If you don't have a website, you need to have a gallery like Behance gallery. Now it's good. You can also give the Instagram account, but remember, your Instagram account need to be very ordered with all things you need to show, and not your vacation pictures.
Lana, she's asking, I draw traditional watercolor illustration for children and adults, but everywhere I go, agents, publishers, I'm told my style is old-fashioned, too traditional. What book market should I approach to be accepted?
It's not, sometimes it's really important if the same advices are the same. So your style is too traditional. Start to understand if too traditional is too old style, or if you are choosing publishers or agents not right for you.
Yeah,
so,
not matching.
Yeah. So take a look, because publishers and agencies are, remember, thousands. So it needs time to find someone who can really appreciate your style or give you the advices more important for you to change something in your style. It's in general because we don't see, obviously, nothing about you. But the book market is not a book market, the whole book market. It's something you can select, studying, watching, keeping attention to the publishers' websites, or going to bookstores, specialized possibly, with many things, books or magazines you like to work, and try.
But be careful. Sometimes, you know, we like one publishing house, we like too much, we like the kind of books they produce, but we don't realize that our style doesn't fit at all with them. So sometimes it's a misunderstanding, you know. So sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves. I like this publishing house, it's super nice, awarded books, incredible authors and illustrators, but my visual language doesn't fit at all. But there will be another publishing house that will give you a chance. Krisha, other than meeting publishers in person or visiting book fair, how can I approach to international publishers? What do they look in illustrations? In illustration, they look for money, I think. How to approach? No, you can approach also, for instance, taking part to international illustration contest, like Mostra Illustratori in BCBF or Golden, sorry, Golden Pinwheel
Award
in China.
Many prizes, many concours, very useful to start to show your job. And also sometimes you can meet a jury, like in Bologna, you can meet and talk with juries and ask their idea. Jurors are always different, so also the advices, the ideas are different, naturally.
Yeah, so don't miss the chance to take part of international illustration contest. It's a good way to get noticed. Claudia, is it possible to work as an illustrator while you also have another job, like a part-time one?
Yes, yes, it's possible, and you have to be very well managed. To manage different jobs, it's possible. I manage different jobs, also very different between them. You can be a writer, you can be a teacher, you can be I don't know.
Whatever.
You have a half time. It means half time of how many hours in a day? Because I used to work 14 hours in a day, every day, no vacations, no weekend. Also, the weekend are perfect for me because I don't have generally other things to do, so I can draw all the time or I can write all the time. It's up to you. If it's a job, it's a job. So you have to decide to take to the job all the time it's necessary. To drawing, it's necessary to the other half of the day, so 6, 7 hours a day, every day. Now, so it's a job. If not, if you have 2 hours, 3 hours, it depends. I have a dog, I have a husband or a wife, I need to go to vacation. Okay, it's your life and it's good to have, but it's more an hobby. And you have to balance in different way. Sorry if I look rude in this case.
We have 10 minutes and like 20 questions, okay? Benedetta, what are the most striking features that distinguish professional versus amateur illustrator from a publisher point of view? It's super easy. An illustrator is a problem solver. An amateur illustrator is a problem maker, okay? That means that a professional illustrators get the brief with some boundaries. I want an illustration like this, this, and this for this kind of publication, and it do her or his best within this brief, not going out. Is reliable, it respects deadlines, he's a good listener, is someone who understands the art director's point of view and follow his directions. That's it.
Yes.
Evelyn, any chance that an online book fair could replace the wonderful offline version? No.
No. It's another.
But Evelyn, last Saturday, I remember we met during the marathon. And for instance, the 24 hours portfolio marathon can be performed online only. So, you know, online, of course, is not the same, but also gave us something new and something wonderful, I think.
Yeah, we trust will be a mix, a good mix of online things and obviously offline experiences. Do we have a book a specific time to show the portfolio to the publisher, or we can just go there and show? No, please respect the idea. They are there working all the time. They're working all the time. So if they want, they put a list, a call. Sometimes publishers put a call. So we are receiving illustrators portfolio from this hour to that hour. And you find that, or if you don't find nothing about that, you fix an appointment 1.5 months before a fair, or in general, also if it's not a fair, you write to the good contact of the art director or the publisher, and generally it passes 1 month more or less.
Celeste, she's asking, before the fair, when you contact the publisher for appointment, it is necessary to send the image of my work or telling something about me? Sure it is.
Both.
Like everybody, if someone contacts you to meet you, and it's someone you don't know yet, you want to know something before meet him or meet her. It's the
not
same.
a blind date.
It's not a blind date. So it works the same.
Yeah.
Hello and thanks. For a first publication, is it convenient to contact editors during the fair, or do you think it's a good option to contact publishing houses all over the year? The second one.
The second one, absolutely, because you have time. They generally have more interest in and time to answer you. Please remember, it's important for all. Don't push answers. Wait, because publisher sometimes answer once in a year. You have to wait, or kindly to remember, I sent you 3 months ago this project. Could I have an answer? But in the same time, you attach another thing also, another good illustration, something you realized during the 3 or 6 months you are waiting.
Celeste again, at the interview, you just show portfolio or also bring some published books too? That means how trained you are.
Yeah, if you have published books are better than a generic portfolio. Yes, because a book is something you realized. So something someone believed it works. So it's good, more good than a generic portfolio.
But manage how heavy are these books, because you have to go walk around all the day in a book fair with a backpack full of books. Yeah. It is better to have a literary agent to approach publisher with a dummy book. Better or not? I mean, if the dummy is working, if the dummy is good, it's the same. You don't need an agent.
Obviously, the agent can do the job and you are relaxed waiting the agent's answer. But if you don't have one, it works at the same time, and you go around looking at your ideal publisher showing the dummy.
Angela, what do you think of showing portfolio on an iPad? Yes. On a smartphone? No.
iPad, also the mini iPad is quite good, better if the size is more or less the A4 size, but in digital or in traditional is the same.
Already we replied to Emma. Jamie, how do I break into the international picture book market? How much time we have for this? A couple of days? It's a big question, Jamie. There is no formula. There is no, you just need to study, design, and give a chance yourself.
And try, because this is like all the job. More you do, more you learn, and you can change. You are able to do more things. It's a language. More words you own, more you can speak properly, fluently. If you have 10 words, you can speak just 10, not 10 concepts, one concept in 10 words.
NG, I understand that not give gadgets fact, but would you give him postcard? Yeah, postcard or stickers is fine. It's not heavy and it's easy to put in a folder.
Yes, we talked about gadgets more complex, like toys.
Puppets or fragile things.
If you work as a toy designer, obviously it's interesting to show something about toy designer. But if you are working as illustrator for a picture book, it's not.
Leticia, any tips to try to work as an illustrator when the book publishing market in your home country is in some kind of crisis? Leticia, the market is the world, is not your home country. Okay, you have to start thinking as an illustrator that your market is the world. You have internet, as I can see, you speak English, as I can see, you only need this to break into the market.
And remember, if you have a specific taste, a specific national touch, it's interesting for other countries to discover, and they are more interested maybe also in collaborate with you because your touch. Maybe in your market is full of the same kind of illustrators.
Carolina, she's asking, do you think that nowadays there is a tendency or preference by illustrators or publishers for specific technique and illustration style, or there is space for everyone?
Fashion is always a point, so there are fashionable things.
Trend,
trend, yes. Like an editorial market, like the flat colors, the conceptual. But remember, there is a really space for everyone has something really good to tell.
And also trends, they come and go. Shu, how much does Instagram affect an illustrator career? If you have many followers, is it possible to have more chance to work?
No, it's not a matter of followers. If you are an influencer, okay, but you need to be an influencer. If you have more followers, sure, you can be more interesting, but it depends because you can buy followers. So I don't know if it's the quality of your job or just because you are very smart keeping followers. Instagram is interesting, important, because now social media are important also in our job, but you have to manage your Instagram page like you manage your website or the annuals or the exhibitions is the same.
And again, Evelyn, she's asking, is it better to go to huge publisher or small one in the book fair?
It's a small one. The smaller have more chances to approach directly, because the biggest, the great group have no time generally, and you can take the cards, the business cards, and write them to the correct person who is able to take a look of your portfolio, your project after, not during the fair. During the fair, it's a good moment to discover also small realities or new publishers.
Okay, two last questions. How many projects in a portfolio you think is enough for a specific publisher? It's up to the publisher, okay? So an average portfolio is about 10, 20 illustration. If you are approaching a picture book publisher, you have to show some project. You have to show that you're not just good in drawing, but that you can tell a visual story. Okay, so you have to put more than one illustration, but like a storyboard of one text. And there is a question from Elena, Ivan. What topics for illustrated books will be most relevant in the near future? What's our vision?
No, there are topics. No, obviously, no obvious fairy tales. Okay. Now the classics are always welcome. Also, the classic is a very, very good training for a young illustrator. But stories are stories, so they are different every time, everywhere. There is not a trend. That the kind of topic is for best-selling authors or publishers who are looking for bestsellers, not in general.
Let's say that in the last years, quite recently, non-fiction books, they are having a good moment. But it's, again, trends, they come and go, okay?
And they can stay 3-4 years, it depends. It's up to you also. A good way to take a look is go often to bookstores and to fairs and festivals. It's a good point to have a look, a general look.
A very short, fast answer to Sophie. Do you need a formal art background to be accepted by agency or publisher? No, you only need a good portfolio. It's never a matter where you come from as a background. It's just a topic of conversation. What you need is a good portfolio, a good visual language, and something original to tell.
I agree.
Thank you, guys. It was again, it was again a pleasure to be with you, even if online, and we will meet again tomorrow.
Yes.
There will be another Ask Me Anything session about portfolio with me and Andrea Alemanno, and there will be another session with Ivan and Alessandro Sanna about the authorship. So
thank you so much.
Thank you all. So nice of you. You make me cry. Bye-bye. Speak soon.
Bye-bye.